Good evening. Hello. Well, this is something a little bit new, isn't it? Right. Let me know you can hear me fine and what the sound level's like. I think the music might be a little bit on the quiet side, but that's because of the LP settings. The music was giving me some copyright issues, so I had to turn it right down. Volume is good. Okay, that's good. That's good. It's always a nice start when you get the volume levels right. Okay, well, I've got to. Some last-minute plans have cropped up, and I do have to depart about 8 o'clock. So we shall not dilly-dally. We shall not mess around. We shall dive straight in. My plan is to do either 3 or 4 races here, which should, by my estimation, take about 2 hours, depending on how quickly we go. So we'll say at least 3, maybe 4 if we have a push. And before I do anything, I am going to dive into the to the Meet the Team section and look at all the changes, the runners and riders for the season ahead, and I'll take you through a couple of things that I've done off camera, which I can barely remember myself because I did all of this at the back end of the last session, which was what, 4 or 5 weeks ago now, maybe even longer. So I'll have to refresh my own memory. But yeah, our car is improved from last season, but it's still excuse me, bloody hell. We are still only 6th best on the grid. I think we were 7th last season, but we're now 6th. We're just behind Windsor and Kitano still, but we are closer. We are closer, and I've got a feeling this season we could surpass at least one of them with our new driver, Alessandro Cruz, who has come in at the 11th hour to replace the ailing Sundin. He's got some really good stats. His fitness and braking letting him down, but the rest of his stats are pretty damn good. He came in and he hogged all the resources, much to Surikov's dismay. But Surikov, after being tutored by the Swede Sundin at the back end of last season, he's turned to religion now, to the point where he's a religious minister, which is taking away from his performance because his attention is diverted to giving people blessings. He doesn't care. He's just taking it all in his stride, chilling out, enjoying life. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. This could be an interesting partnership. So first thing then is we shall check out the opposition. So how do we do that? It's been a while. Here we go. We'll start with right. We'll start with, that's right, Chariot Motor Group, who were recently promoted from the Asia Pacific Cup. So we're not expecting great things from them, and hopefully we won't be racing with them too closely. Otherwise, things have gone horribly wrong. But you can look at their stats here, and you can see that they are pretty rubbish. Their car is the 9th best on the grid. Their drivers aren't much better. Their headquarters is a shambles, probably a few tents or something. Their staff isn't great. Their pit crew's not bad. Their drivers, well, good for Asia Pacific Cup, but 4-star, as we saw with Sundin, doesn't really cut it in this echelon of motorsport. So they're going to really struggle this season. I'll be shocked if they didn't get relegated, to be honest with you. So that's the team in green, Chariot Motor Group. Fiore and Hamilton. It'll be easy to spot them on the old race map because they're probably the only green car on the grid. Now here is a team we look at with interest. This is, of course, Kitano, the team that we are looking to try and get one over on this season after some close battles last year. Their consistency paid off. They have De Graaf still racing for them, but he seems to have dropped a little bit. Is he suffering from a negative status? Yes, he's suffering from failed model, which is giving him -1 to all traits and -30 to morale for 13 weeks. So that's why his level has dropped a touch. But that he is the superstar of the team, and De Wolf is also still there. He was there last season. He's their second driver. Yeah, we saw them last season. They got a flipping damn good chassis. Look at that, an amazing chassis, which is testament to their good performance. Maybe even they're probably going to be even tougher this season. Maybe they've made advancements as well. But we'll see how we mix it up with those guys. Kitano. We look to the Panther Racing team. We know about these guys. The third best car on the grid, behind the Scuderia Rossini and the Steinman. Harry Chapman is still there. He's 37. His level has dropped, but probably just because of old age, really. Can't see any massively negative stats. I think old age is just creeping in. He's just deteriorating. A shadow of his former self. Should probably have retired a couple of seasons ago and spared his blushes, but he's still here. Sylvander is not even a 4-star driver. Quite weak, to be honest with you. Their car is the third best, but with these current drivers, they might struggle a little bit this season. They could well struggle. Half the fan base, yes, of Kitano. Kitano, well, these are obviously based on real life teams. I think the real life team these guys are based on is has more of a history than the real life Panther Racing team. Hence why the fan base difference. Phoenix Knights, of course, ourselves. Well, let's have a look at ourselves in the grand scheme of things. A team on the up, a team on the rise, and fingers crossed we will demonstrate that this season. Rosato Corsa, a team who we are hoping to leave behind this season. Red and blue. They still have D'Aosta, they still have Flores. Their car is a little bit worse than ours, apparently. But other than that, I mean, we're expecting this season to be further away from these. We were beating these regularly last season, for the most part. In the back end, they sort of started to surpass us a touch, but for the most part, we were better. So this season, I'm expecting to be even better, and we hopefully won't be mixing it up with these guys too often. That's Rosato Corsa. Here they are. Here they are. Scuderia Rossini, the big boys, the big two, part of the big two. They have a new driver. I can't remember who was driving from last season, but it wasn't Parsani. Doesn't ring a bell. It was two females, Balcazar, and it was somebody else. But here is Parsani, who's been brought in, age 35 and 3.5 star. That seems to me to be a rather strange move, to put it mildly. Their car is currently the best on the grid, but with these drivers, are they going to be able to get the best performance out of it? Because they have the second worst drivers on the grid. Decent chassis, so that's Parsani and Balcazar. But then you look at Steinman, and apparently they have even worse drivers. So the best two cars having the worst set of drivers on the grid, are they being cocky? Are they trying to... Is this like a handicap system where they can only have really rubbish drivers to try and level the playing field? I don't know, but Becker and Fisher were there last season. They're here again. They won the Constructors last year, so to be fair to them, they've got to be considered favourites. Thornton, they were here last season. They survived relegation. They came up 2 seasons ago, so they're here now on merit, and they had the best driver on the grid. In my opinion, full-blown 5-star performer. She didn't want to come to us. We did try for her, but she is the reason why they stayed up, really. And Clark Smith, I think, was there last season, so they'll be mixing it at the back end of the field. A couple of shock results, possibly with some weather. I don't expect them to get relegated, but they're establishing themselves as a semi-decent team, although their car is down as the worst on the grid, so they're going to have to really pull their finger out to survive. Van Dort Racing, they have got some pretty decent drivers. 4.5 star there, 4 and a bit star there. Schmidt and Gonzalez. Their drivers are better than ours on paper, although when Surikov comes back from his religious nonsense, he should push us up a touch. But yeah, could be a strong showing. Going to be battling with Rosato Corsa, I feel. Hopefully won't trouble us too much. And that leaves us with the final team on the grid. The team that we again will be taking most interest with is Windsor Racing. They have Veracruz, they have Lipponen again. Lipponen was another driver on my radar, damn good driver, and they're going to be battling with us again quite closely, I feel. Their chassis not as good as Kitano's, their car not as good as Kitano's. Their drivers are the best on the grid though, which may make up for that deficit. So if you were to ask me, out of all the teams, well, say all the teams, out of the two teams, Kitano and Windsor, which one would we be most likely to leapfrog? I gotta say Windsor on this evidence. I think this is the team that could be right for the picking. If we can leapfrog both of them, even better. But we'll take it one step at a time. So let's meet the teams. So I have done something off camera since the last session. If you can remember what the hell happened in the last session, we did pre-season testing and all that kind of jazz and got ourselves ready. I've decided, with our plethora of cash that we had 67 million in the bank, I decided to actually spend some of that money and upgrade our simulator and our handling development centre, which will give us the epic rear wing and epic suspension components so that we can turbocharge our development that little bit further. So by the back end of the season, when we start developing our rear wing and suspension, that should give us a nice handy little boost, because we need to start making some inroads in the development race. We're doing a good job, but we could be doing better. Speaking of development, we're currently designing a new front wing, which is going to be ready after, it's going to be ready before the next race, so we can maybe get that sorted. And in terms of improving the parts, let's have a wee look then. So the next race is in Doha, which is acceleration, low speed and top speed, so that's what, gearbox, front wing and engine. So gearbox, front wing and engine, yeah, for the reliability. We are focusing on our front wing and our brakes early this season because they are the parts that are letting us down, so we'll go for the performance of the engine and the gearboxes to start with. Put that over that side, and I think the rear wing will be developing quite late as well, so we'll get those up. It's not going to really make much of a difference because we're not putting any staff into that, but all on the reliability front. Alright. In terms of fitting the parts, I like to spread my parts between the two drivers, so if we give, for instance, Lissandro Cruz the better engine, then Sirikov should have the better gearbox. That's not how it's happening, is it? Let's take this off, clear this out, and give the drivers some sort of equal status. So what we'll do is we shall give Sirikov the better engine, but we'll give this guy the better gearbox. Spread that out. In terms of the wings, we'll give Sirikov the better rear wing, we'll give him the better front wing. And suspension and brakes, we'll go with the... Seeing as he's got the worst braking, he's got a 7 braking, we'd better give him the better brakes, right? Because he's going to need all the help he can get to slow that car down. We'll give him the better brakes, we'll give him the better suspension. So it's kind of a 50-50 split in terms of the better parts. Sirikov is happy, he thinks he's got the better car. He thinks he's got an equal car. That'll do. Can't please everybody. So that's the setup of the cars for the next race. Parts fit. Staff set to work. We have met the teams. We have gone through the headquarters situation. The pit crew is being auto-managed, which is fine for the early part of the season because everybody's fine. Everybody's fit and healthy. When we get to the part where we have to swap and change, I might have to start taking over, because as we saw last season, the AI didn't really manage this very well, and I think we lost out on the pit stops quite regularly to our opponents. And when you're racing wheel to wheel with cars, a bad pit stop can make all the difference, it really can. From the finances, you can see we're losing 2.2 million a race, which is far more than we lost last year, so we're going to have to try and get some decent sponsors in to offset that. Unfortunately, we've dropped from 4-star sponsors to 3-star sponsors because of the marketability levels of our drivers isn't marvellous, which is a bit of an issue, but hopefully they can perform well enough to get us some money through through meeting the sponsor objectives that we do have. That's as much as we can hope for. Right, since they introduced that pit crew feature, I really haven't paid attention to it. Maybe I should, but it just seems like an irksome thing to do. The is it the who? It's not. I think it's the refueling guy 17. The front jack is 17. No, I'm not going to split hairs over that. I don't know why. It just really irritates me why they've introduced this pit crew nonsense. It really bugs me. It just seems like a mini game all in itself for no particular reason. Anyhow, we're going to design a new front wing. Are we not? First of all, we're going to check out the front wing that we have just designed. Okay, it's pretty decent. It's got a lot of potential, which is what we were going for. We were going for the potential performance because it's going to be one that we use. It's not an illegal one, so when we can improve this reliability-wise, we'll start using it ASAP. I don't think we're going to have enough reliability on it to use it in this particular race, but we'll certainly focus on it for next race. So that's 1265, 1317. So we're focusing on legal parts so that we can use them this season, and then the last couple that we use will be the ones that we take forward to next year. So this, and then we have an option here. That's risky, so that's no use. That's reliability, we don't want that. This is performance, which means that's the only option we've got. Still 1265, but more potential performance. So that's the only option that we have. Okay, so we'll build that, get that cracked on. So that's the second front wing. So we'll have two new front wings to use, fingers crossed, by the third race of the season. I don't think we're going to be able to get it done by the second. By the third race, we'll have two usable front wings, and they will last us to the end of the season. Alright. Top speed improvements. We could make some improvements. We could make some improvements all around, my friend, but we can only work in the confines of what we have, and we're working flat out. Don't start getting negative on the team before the first race, Irikov. Come on, we want positive vibes here. Positivity. Yeah? Not negativity. New material for rear wheel. Ooh! Wait a second! Look at this! Look at this! Whoa! It's about time we got some decent bloody dilemmas. I watched an LP of somebody once where one of the dilemmas actually gave them I think it was something to do with they copied the plans of another team's gearbox, for instance, and it instantly gave them the best gearbox on the grid because the plans that they were copying from were from the best team, or the team that had the best gearbox. So they instantly got gearboxes that were the best on the grid. That is a dilemma which was absolutely unbelievable. But this one does seem to be pretty decent. A new type of exotic alloy which will strengthen the quality of our parts, will give us 35 performance to both rear wings for the cost of only 600 grand. Now, considering we're going to be developing our rear wings last, this little extra 35 points is going to be most handy. We're certainly going to foot the bill for that. This is brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. We'll take it. Now can we have another one where we get some excellent engines or something? You know, super engines? We have a deal with Steinman. They're giving us engines specifically tailored to be excellent. Let's have a look at how that's affected our rear wing status. It's pushed our rear wing status up to 4th best on the grid. I don't think we were that high before. I seriously don't think we were that high before with the rear wing, so that's pretty good jump. It is a pretty good jump indeed, and we still got potential performance to come from these as well, so that's definitely a helpful boost. It is indeed. Right, okay. Right. So we're 17. We've got a couple of 17s. Whilst we've only got a couple of 17s, I am willing to. We can actually swap the front jack man here. There's one here, isn't there? 19. Should we take that off? Let's take that off for a minute. Right. Okay. So the front jack man, Mercer. Oh, I don't want to fire you. No. How do you swap? Swap you for front jack man here, who's got better front jacking skills. Is that right? How do you do this rubbish? See, I've never done this now. There. So he's now got a better front jack. So refueling then. He's refueling 17. We don't have refueling better than that, and I don't really want to start messing around with the people inside here. So that little switch there has gained us a fraction of a second. Fraction of a second, perhaps. Although tyres, is somebody on tyres that's got a better refueling? Yes. Dece. So we put you on refueling like that, and then we swap you on tyres. No, what was I seeing here? What was I seeing here? Wait a second. I had something in my head. You there. That's it. Swap you for tyres. And there we go. We have a much better. I say much better. We have a slightly better pit lineup now. That works well when everything is hunky-dory with the stamina. When the stamina's knacked, we're going to be knacked. Anyway, off we tootle. You can swap Wernham in. What's it? Who? Oh, he's got better something or other. He's got better front jack or rear jack. Has he got? We've got 220 jacks. No, the jacks are fine. We've got 19s and 20s. I think that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. Right, so the order of the day, obviously this is a minimum lag, this is minimum delay, it's highly interactive, so if you guys want to participate as my technical advisors during the race, suggesting strategy calls and potential opportunities, then feel free to chirp up. I'll be pausing the race at intervals to take in what's going on, and hopefully together with our collective strategic brains we might be able to get some good thingies. Oh yeah, we could. Sorry. You know what? This is why I don't do these things. I just don't see the obvious. You know. Right. Better. But there's also the stamina to take into account, because the stamina does affect. What does it do? It affects something. Stamina. Who cares? Right, that'll do. We'll go with the numbers. We'll go with the numbers. Right, 10th or above I think is definitely doable. 3rd or above probably a bit outside our range. First definitely not. So if we can qualify 10th or above and get that in the race, we'll only lose 1.8 million, which is still a hell of a lot of money by my reckoning. And the medium tyre wear, but we're using the hardest set of compounds, which means that we will probably get with 2 drivers now with very good smoothness. I think we're not going to have the issues that we had with Sundin, where we have to short fuel her and mess around with harder compound tyres because she can't make them last. I think 3 soft stints, sorry, are going to be pretty much doable. So we're going to go for 8 sets of soft tyres, make that 9 to be safe, 4 sets of medium and 2 hards. I think that's probably a reasonable spread, just in case. The parts are done, the sponsors are done, so we're going to dive into the practice session, which is something that I don't usually record, so this will be an interesting one. I'll take you through my practice routine, and instead we can talk about, I don't know, we can talk about real life F1 in the chat if you wish, we can talk about the weather, we can talk about loads of things, whilst I mess around getting the bonuses and stuff. It's quite a laborious. It's not laborious. It's quite a mechanical process. There's not really much to it. Although this guy's form, he's coming to a new team and he's not feeling it by the looks of it. He's not feeling it at all. We're going to have to get him up to speed. Weight stripping, it's a bit too soon to start stripping the weight from the car, so we'll leave that off for the first couple of races. Right, this is Doha, so we're going to load forth our Doha strategy from last season. Hopefully that will be not too far from what we need it to be. Of course, different drivers have slightly different settings that they like, and I think as the cars change season on season, that also leads to slightly different performances as well, so we will have to do some tweaking, but should be okay. So both I've got the setups loaded. Let's see how that works. Right, okay, so let's go through the usual process here, and we're going to send out our drivers as quickly as possible, and we'll start on the race trim and we'll do one lap at a time on the softs. Race trim one lap at a time on the softs, and that's fine, and then we'll send them out, 12 speed it, and bring them in after one lap. Hello, Claire. And take it down. And in we go. Okay, so as you can see, he's got excellent, great, great. Now usually I'm happy to see 95% or above. That's 97, so there's no more need for us to mess around there. So we'll go for the full 3 laps on the softs, send him out, he's done. Sirikov might need a tweak or two, just a little smidgen of a tweak. He's 90, no, he's 96, I'll take that as well, so no need to mess around with him. We'll go 3 laps on the race trim, soft tyres, and off we pop. So that's the very simple, handy loading of the car setup, which means we don't have to mess around with tweaking wings and camber and all that nonsense. Literally, we can just get our bonuses. And it is a very long lap, which means that the knowledge bars go up quite slowly. But thankfully, as you saw from the tyres, the softs can do 8 to 10 laps. This, we're going to be doing 6 lap stints, so there's going to be no issue with tyre wear. So we don't even have to do medium tyre stints. So we don't have to worry about getting medium tyre bonuses. And now both our drivers just driving side by side, and we're not pushing them, which is quite a good thing to see, because even though we're not pushing them, they're actually getting decent times. They're up in the top 10 without us pushing, although we are a whopping 1.4 seconds slower than Becker. Okay, so we've got the appropriate levels of trim there, so now we go for qualifying trim with 3 laps. We'll go on a fresh set of softs, although technically speaking there's no point because we've maxed out the soft, so we might as well do the mediums just for the laugh. And we'll go qualifying on the mediums. Okay, and off we go. And that should do us. Yeah, McLaren's new engine is obviously the Renault engine. Although they're testing speed. I mean, testing you take it with a pinch of salt, but the testing speed wasn't eye-opening really. But we'll see. They had a very good chassis last season. Probably the best on the grid, really. So if they can incorporate their engine into that, then they're going to be in a good position. But if you look at the Toro Rossos, the Honda engine is much improved by the looks of it on paper this season. He did, but he was using the hyper soft tyres. He was using the really, really soft and quick tyres, where everybody else was using mediums and softs. Okay, so we still need to do another. Oh, we're out of time, so we haven't maxed out the qualifying trim, which is a little bit of a shame. But the race is longer. The race trim is more important. I'm quite impressed with the times here. Normally when I go for a practice session, I do like to put in a really fast time on the softest compound and put my drives on push. And even without that, Lissandro Cruz has got in 5th place, even without that. Now of course some of the drivers were on hard tyres, so we take it with a grain of salt, but comparatively, Kitano and De Graaf, 147.5. Of course, the proof will be in the pudding when it comes to qualifying and the race, so we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. And practice times, taken with a pinch of salt. Oh, not to put a damper on your hopes. I reckon McLaren are going to finish 4th. I don't think they're going to surpass Red Bull, or of course the big two. But I do think they're going to finish. I do think they'll finish 4th. I do. Although Renault are looking pretty strong as well this season, so far, from what I've seen. So we're going for the soft tyre and the qualifying trim. And the setups are done. Of course, they should be going out on the soft tyres. That's good. Just double checking. And of course, because there's going to be no variable weather conditions here, it's going to be bright sunshine, as you would imagine, in this part of the world. We're just going to auto resolve this. So, off we go. Keep your fingers crossed, folks. The first qualifying session of the season. Where does all the pre-season hard work leave us? Are we gonna get in the top 10 comfortably? Are we gonna surpass Windsor, Kitano? Let's go for it. Come on, don't let me down. Come on, lads. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to see here. Come on, this is where we were last season. This is not an improvement. Oh, Surikov! Come on, Surikov, what are you doing? Oh, no. No, this is not an improvement. Shut up, phone. Oh, this is not an improvement. It is only the first race. We take it with a, but this is not an improvement in my eyes. 9th and 13th. Beaten by Rosato Corsa, yes, that's the first thing I noticed. Beaten by a Rosato Corsa. It is Surikov, who is, of course, he's a little bit, I don't know, I think this religious nonsense is just taking his eye off the ball a little touch. Our new driver, Lissandro Cruz, is qualified pretty decently. And it is a long lap, so being a 10th down on the Kitanos is not bad. But this is I was hoping to be like 8th and 9th. That would have been a really nice start to the season. I was hoping for 8th and 9th, a nice positive start, and really showing some signs of progress. Don't forget, we've also got that rear wing boost. What good has that done us? But of course we haven't used weight stripping, and I think the weight stripping element really boosted us up last season. So come the 3rd race onwards, when we can start using weight stripping, I think we're going to move up the table slightly. So, okay, we'll take it. We won't be too disheartened. And of course we always finish higher in the race than we do in qualifying, 90% of the time. So, hopefully we can. We can put this right, this hellacious qualifying session, where we are beaten by Rosato Corsas on the first race of the season. What did I say in the Meet the Teams? We shouldn't be racing with these guys this season. We won't bother focusing on them too much. Right, soft tyres and race trim. Soft tyres and race trim. Now we're going to have to get the strategies right. Okay. So this is where the interaction comes into play, folks. If you've got any ideas for strategy, or you've got any thoughts or feelings, please holler, shout, scream. I'll take them into consideration. Cruise is higher. Well, we've got 17 laps. We've got to do 2 stops due to the fuel tanks. So usually around about 6 laps, 2 6s and a 5. Where do we want to bring Cruisy in? Do we want to long stop Cruisy or short stop him? I'm thinking short stopping him, bringing him in on lap 5, getting him into some clear air, and giving him the opportunity to boost. No, you can't do 1 stoppers here. The fuel load, or the size of the fuel tanks have been specifically for 2 stops. The only race where you might be able to do a 1 stopper is Italy. You can, if you go conserve on both stints, you can actually just about make a one-stopper. But that's not going to be optimal anyway, because you're going really, really slowly to conserve fuel. I'm thinking 5.66. Yeah, I'm thinking 5.66 for Cruz. Get him out early, get him into some clear air, and focus on him to get the better points today, because he's the new driver. He's looking in good form, and he should do quite well. So we've got the soft tyres. We're going to bring him down to 6 laps of fuel, bringing him in on lap 5. And then we'll go for 2 6s. So that's pretty straightforward for him. In terms of Sirikov, of course, he doesn't have a choice. He's going to have to go for the 6. So 7 laps of fuel. The tyres are fine on the softs. Good stuff. So 8. It says 8 laps of fuel there. That's not right. That's not quite right, is it? We don't want 8 laps. Although it says 7 laps here. That's like a hidden secret extra lap of fuel in there somewhere. Where did that come from? Max fuel 7, they're giving us 8. Still says 8. Not a glitch. I'm concerned. Right, take the lap of fuel out. Take the lap of fuel out. And okay, fine. Whatever it says, I'll go with it. It's fine. Right, we're going to go 2 pushes and then 2 overtakes. No weight stripping. Right, okay. We did get our qualifying bonus because he did finish 9th, did Cruz, so that's a plus. So we didn't look at the grid, so let's look at the grid now then. Here is the first grid of the season here in Doha. It's the Steinman of Becker on pole position with Parsani, the long-haired Mr. Man here with his shade, looking all cool with his long hair and shades. Pity he can't drive though, but anyway, he's in 2nd place for Scuderia Scene. We've got Fisher in 3rd, we've got Balcazar, old Chica Balcazar with blonde hair, it looks really odd, 4th position there. We've got, look at the hairstyles indeed, we've got Chapman and Sylvander 5th and 6th. I mean, I was hoping by the end of this season, if we could start just mixing it with the Panthers, of course, it would have been absolutely really good. Of course, we've got to pass the Windsors and Kitanos first. Kitano and Windsor, Kitano, sorry, locking out 7th and 8th with De Graaf and De Wolf there. Sandro Cruz popping it onto 9th, not bad for his first race in a new car. Flores outperformed, I think she's outperforming expectations there. Damn good qualifying session for her in 10th. With the Windsors 11th and 12th, I did suspect that they were beatable, and this is proving the case here. They are beatable. They are beatable this season. Their car isn't very good, and their drivers are their strength, if you will. And we are in 13th. But look at that. He's got like half-worn tyres, which is an interesting strategy to use. Nobody else is on half-worn tyres, so Vera Cruz, expect him to come in quite early. Yeah, bizarre. Yeah, Flores is a good driver. I think she was 4.5 star, wasn't she? So she is a good driver. And we're off! And it's a good start for Cruz, but he's got bogged down behind one of the Kitanos, but he's popping up. Oh, we've got a wide car. Kitano has gone wide. Who is it? It's De Wolf. He's gone down into 19th position. And Cruz is up into 5th. Great start in his first race. Okay. Surikov is up into 10th, so he's made places. Cruz has made places. This is all good stuff. We're going to bump up now. Now, what we've got to worry about is, of course, the track temperature. The tyres are going to heat up pretty quickly here, so we do not want to push them too hard, too early. But we're not going to turn them down just yet. We don't want to fall behind the opposition. And of course, we also have to worry about the condition of the car to some degrees. So we can't afford to be pushing the engine too hard for too long. So we're just a couple of laps of pushing, and then we're going to put the cars in cruise mode and see what comes. But after the first lap of the race, Cruz up into 5th. And Surikov is going backwards, which is a little bit alarming. He's down into 13th now all of a sudden, and he's getting passed by Thorntons. He's, yeah, this is a little bit perturbing. I have no idea what on earth he's doing. He's been passed by all kinds of riffraff. So we'll ignore that situation and we shall focus our attention instead on the car that is doing much better. This is where we should be, in my opinion, up in the top 6, the top 8, certainly. I think he's just having a bad day in the office. But his form is 7.3 though, so I can see the tyre situation is already spiraling out of control. So turning the tyres down now, which is not good for Sirikov because he could do with a bit of extra life. He's expleting over the radio his frustrations at being held up by slower cars, but then it's your own fault. Why the hell are you down there? This is not a good start. Right, okay, let's have a look at the old laps. Cruz got 3 laps, 3.3. I think we're going to turn that down now, and we'll turn him down as well. We've got to conserve car condition. I mean, Sirikov is down into 17th position. I mean, this is an embarrassment, really. This is not quite the first race we had in mind when we rolled up into Doha here with an improved car on last season, 2 good drivers, second, third best lineup on the grid, and we're at the back end of the field. He's a whopping 8 seconds behind Cruz. This is where I'm thinking now, where we should sometimes be a little bit more on the fly with our strategy. I'm thinking that we should be bringing. We've got enough laps to play with here. I'm thinking if we bring Sirikov in round about after lap 4, that early. 6 and 6 is what, 12? We've got 7 laps. 7 and 6 is 13. 4. Yeah, so we can bring him in lap 4 and still have enough fuel to get him to the end of the race on 2 stints. I think we need to bring him in as early as possible, get him out of this traffic, get him into clear air as early as possible, and let him put his foot down. So I'm thinking we're going to bring Sirikov in now, adapt our strategy a little bit, and bring him in on lap 4. I think that's the best thing here. He's just bogged down in that traffic, and it's not helping him at all. Meanwhile, Cruz is just doing what he needs to do, which is pretty much cruising around the track in 5th position, having a good drive so far. Let's hope the pit stops don't let us down. Give him the tyres. Yeah, that's a good point. If he's going to be coming in early, we're going to give him the tyres, and in fact I'm going to give him the engine as well. I'm going to give him full mashings for as long as possible. He's only going to do 1 more lap here. I am worried about car condition, but if he's not going to get in the points, there's no point in saving the car. So he is getting full beans. He's going to actually come in now at the end of this lap. Let's put a fresh set of boots on. We're going to fuel him. We're going to fuel him long and give him a clear track here. Okay. So that's Sirikov. As much as we can do with him, we can't do anything else, really. That rear wing is looking a little bit shady, so we're going to turn down now both cars, just to have a little bit of preservation in the second stint, just a little bit of car preservation. This Cruz is just keeping on the back of Chapman here. I think Chapman could be right for the picking. We've seen how he's degrading his old stats, the old man, the 37 veteran. So Cruz is coming in this lap now, so we'll get him in. We can afford to put him on to push now, I think, and we'll give him a fresh set of tyres. He's doing the set of 6 laps, so we'll give him the 7 laps of fuel. Okay. So Sirikov, here he is, in he comes, and let's have a watch here, make sure everything goes A-OK. Turn Cruz's tyre wear up, and let's just put him on push, and we're going to put him on push and high for a lap, but then we're going to have to turn him down. That rear wing is really looking a bit worse for wear. We can change it, of course. We do have consecutive pit stops, so we can change the wing should we need to. It only costs us about an extra second. So this is Cruz, he's coming in now, coming in a little bit earlier than perhaps the other drivers, but we'll give him clear air, maybe an opportunity to leapfrog Chapman, because I'm sure we're stuck in his dirty air here, not doing us any favours. As also in the pits comes one of the Scuderia Rossinis. And we're out. And we're out. But we are going to get caught in some of the midfield traffic because they haven't pitted yet, so we may lose a little bit of time here. Sirikov, let's see what he's doing. We're just going to turn that down. We'll go high for now. Put him down onto medium now because I'm, as I said, worried about that car condition. And the tyres are already in the red. We're going to keep them push here because tyre wear is not a problem on this track. We're not going to run out of tyres. So we'll just keep him on the push order. He has leapfrogged D'Oster. Nope, Flores, sorry. That's a good sign. So how far behind are we? 16, De Wolf is there. De Wolf went off the track and he's yet to pit though, isn't he? Looks like he's got to pit. So we could leapfrog him. Don't worry about the tyres, you let me worry about that, you just keep driving. Stop chirping. If you weren't bloody so slow, we wouldn't be in this damn pickle. Right, 13th, 7th, 6th. We've got a slow car ahead of us, slowing us down. We've leapfrogged a Scuderia Rossini by the looks of it there. But we are stuck here behind Gonzalez on a slower tyre. We've got to get past here. We've got to get past. We do get past. And we're going to turn it down now. I'm going to turn it down. The condition of the car is causing me some concern. Oh, he's coming in next lap. Just keep him behind you. Keep him behind you. In fact, we're going to turn him up here. We can't afford to be passed by him. So, and Chapman has come out ahead of us. So we're pretty much as we were. Although this guy is really getting in our face here. Gonzalez, just know your place. Do not try to pass Phoenix Knights. Are you crazy? Right, I think we're fine now. So we're going to turn it down. We'll turn down both just to preserve. We're up into 5th. Do I see black? I can't see black smoke ahead of me, surely not. No. Look at that. Parsani. Parsani is behind us, but for how long? Okay. So we're just past the halfway stage here, so we're going to have to just keep medium, not necessarily for the tyre wear, but even if you do push, attack on the driving style, it does wear out your other parts quickly as well. So this is more of a part conservation issue and purely a issue of tyre wear. And as you can quite clearly see here, look who just so happens to be up into 8th place. It's Sirikov. He's pushed his tyres insanely hard, which could be a problem. He has to get to lap 10. Yeah, they're going to last. Is it 35 or is it 25 where they go red? I think it's 25. I think he's fine. But look at that. Bringing him in that early has leapfrogged him from 17th all the way up to 8th. So he's pulled it out of the bag. He's pulled a rabbit out of the magician's hat. He's managed to do it. And Cruz still has the Scuderia Rossini behind him here. Cruz is in a battle and a half, and we could give him a bit of extra juice just to try and keep these cars behind. Its car condition isn't necessarily massively fading. Surikov has got to do one more lap here. Tyres are an issue. He's pushed so hard his tyres have fallen away, and he's not got the fuel to get to the end of the race here. Which, let me see, I don't think he has got the fuel to get to the end of the race. 7 laps remaining after stop. me change the tyres first and see if it says anything. Yes, if we bring Sirikov in now, he will have enough fuel to get to the end of the race, apparently. I don't believe that. I don't think that's right. We're on lap 10. The leader's on lap 10. He comes out, he's got to do lap 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. He's got to do 8 laps. Not 7. So I'm thinking that's... yeah, that's not right. This is wrong. I'm not going to do that, that's wrong. That's, for whatever reason, it's not calculating that properly. Sirikov has got to cross the line. He's on lap 9 now, not 10. So yes, this is not... yeah, he's going to have to make these last... this is going to be an issue. It's going to be a problem. Houston, we have an issue. We've got too much fuel in this car. Right, he's going to have to come in now. Enough to fuel to the end of the race. Park condition. Ooh, those brakes don't look very marvellous. We can fix something. Oh, that's going to cost us time. It's the front wing we can fix. The brakes, they ain't going to last. We're going to have to take a hit. Oh, Jesus. Oh, his car is shot to bits. Oh, this has not been a very good start to the season, I have to say. I don't think they're going to last one more stint. We've got really no choice. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to conserve and risk it. That's good. Yep, we're going to conserve and risk it. We'll see what he does. Other cars may fix their parts and they may lose time in the pits. So if we conserve, which means he seems to be a lot. His smoothness is 20, so he's a bit kinder on his car. So that's why he's not so bad. Sirikov is smoothness 18 due to the -1 from that negative trait, which is causing some of the issues. He's got to come around to do one more lap yet. I'm just going to turn the car down. He's got some breathing room. You see this? He's actually pulling away from the Scuderia Rossini here. This is very promising stuff from Cruz. Throughout this entire stint, which we've not been massively pushing ourselves, to be quite honest, he's managed to just keep that gap just nice. Of course, he's lost time on Chapman, but overall I'm pretty impressed with his efforts here. I'm thinking that we should bring Cruz in now as well. I think doing an extra lap on the red tyres for no apparent reason is a risk we don't need to take with him, so we're going to bring him in a little bit earlier than anticipated, but this is definitely an urgent situation. I'm going to just put enough fuel in here just to splash him up to finish the race. Park conditions fine, tyres fine. Okay, so bringing in Cruz. Are they both pitting at the same time? Wait a second. 19:25. It's going to be touch and go stacking here, but this is another risk. This is another risk. We'll get him in and out. Come on, fuel. Get him in. Get him done. Get him done. Come on. 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 Out. 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 Perfect. Like clockwork. Like clockwork. Right, we're off. Right, he doesn't have excess fuel, so what we're going to do is we're just going to keep him on medium, medium, and medium, medium. Let's have a look at his car condition. 36 and 36. We'll keep him on medium, medium for now. We'll take him down to conserve if needs be. But we are stuck in a bit of a traffic. We are stuck in a little bit of traffic here. Sirikov has come out right at the back of the pack, but everybody ahead of him has to pit, so there's still an opportunity. There's still an opportunity here to get some points with Sirikov, if his car makes it across the line, of course. So let's just keep it nice and steady. Schmidt and Veracruz have to pit, Flores has to pit, De Graaf and Parsanini and Chapman all have to pit. Chapman's also fixing a part, so that might just give us a little bit of extra leeway, although he is actually coming out of the pit already. That was a very quick pit stop. There he is. You can just see him exiting the pit there. We're not going to get anywhere near him, but we are up into 8th with other cars ahead of us yet to pit. So this is good for Cruz. This is good for Cruz, and we can turn up the wick Once we know exactly what we're playing with. Sirikov is up into 15th. It's gonna be tough for him to get points, but there's still an opportunity. Lots of cars ahead of him still have to pit. The only drawback is he's stuck in traffic now. Yeah, it seems to be a bug that. It happened at the start of the session. For whatever reason, it just kept registering as 8 laps. I think it was 7, but unless he's got a secret hidden trait that we don't know about this season. Extra fuel trait. So look at the car conditions. Veracruz has passed him, I think, by the sounds of it. Yep, he's battling with Veracruz here. He's battling with Veracruz and Sylvander, which indicates that we're not doing too badly. But we can't really push his car due to the issues that they've got, so... Oh, here we go. We've just got out ahead of Parsinini, who is got a problem with his car though, so we don't have to worry about him. So we're going to just turn up the juice a little bit with Cruz. We don't have to worry about him. He's gonna crash out before the end of this race. There's no way he can go with a car problem for 4 laps. No chance. And we just don't want to. Just make sure that we finish the race. 28%. Nah, there's no way this is happening. There's no way this is happening. In fact, I'm considering going in conserve here. Sort of eke him over the line. Sirikov, you have given me nothing but headaches this race, must be said. Utter headaches. If you'd have got ahead and got a decent start and just kept your position, you wouldn't have had to be in this mire. Wouldn't have had to push you so hard. Right, he's up into 12th, 11th. Points are on the cards here. De Wolf has to stop, Gonzalez has to stop, so there is still opportunity for him to get points, which means I'm going to just turn down just for a lap or two, just to conserve that car. Right, Cruz, just going to turn him down because we're not worried. He's going to have issues. He's going to have issues. We've got 32%. There's plenty of life left. 3 laps. He's got plenty of life. We're not going to get to Chapman, so we don't have to worry about that. All we have to worry about is 5th place. That is as high as we're going to finish here. We don't want to go any further back than 5th. And considering that he's going to have an issue with his car, we just need to cover off De Graaf. We just have to cover off De Graaf. So we'll conserve our car now so that we can push it on the last couple of laps. Come on, Cruz. Oh, 23%. What a drop. He's got to do 3 laps on 23%. Even he might not make it. We should have fixed that front wing when we had the opportunity in the pits. It wouldn't have cost us any time. Have maybe fixed that. Oh, Jesus. It's touch and go. In fact, his front wing is worse than a lot of Sirikov's parts. His tyres are fine. They're going to make. Ooh, I don't know if they are. You know. I don't know if he is going to make it with the tyres here. His tyres are looking worse for wear compared to all the cars around in here. Front wing is right. Let's go conserve here. Conserve the wing, conserve the tyres. This is a race of attrition, isn't it? An absolute race of attrition. Let's have a look what's happening with De Graaf. He's conserving also, so we're not losing out really. He is conserving. We can actually push the engine. That doesn't affect the front wing. And our engine and gearbox are fine. So we're pushing the engine, conserving the tyres and the front wing with Cruz. He's still managing. 2 laps to go, 1 more after this one. It hasn't flashed red yet, so I'm not concerned. I am actually quite impressed that this guy's car is holding out as long as it has. So maybe we do have to cover him off. What's Sirikov? He's comfortably in 9th. He's comfortably in 9th. Probably not going to get past Veracruz, so we're not going to risk it here. I think we'll just keep him in this exact same. Just put him on high. That should do us. Alright, so. Ooh! De Wolf has retired, but he's not near any of us. I can't believe it. He's passed us here. He's passed us. He's passed us here. I'm going to turn him up now. This is. How on earth has he lasted this long? His car needs to blow up. Come on, Cruz. Come on. His car isn't flashing, so we're going to push everything here. We're going to push everything on this last lap. We're going to push it all. Surikov is fine where he is. Oh, we're losing ground on both cars here. The tyres are going to give out any moment now. This is touch and go. I don't think we're going to get 5th. I think we're going to finish 7th here. Oh, he's up the inside! He's up the inside here! He's up the inside! This is wheel-to-wheel racing here. This is close stuff. I think. We're coming out worse where our tyres are down to 20% now. His car is still somehow driving around this circuit. We've got black smoke elsewhere. I don't know what part of his is supposed to be knackered, but it's lasted out. The car's out of fuel. Who is that? It's another. Come, pass. Yes. Yes, 5th position! It could have been 4th, but we got 5th. What a calamity at the end of that race. Bloody hell. That was an insanely stressful race. With parts going to break, with strategies going askew. How on earth did his car survive 4 laps with a warning symbol? How? Not only that, but he passed me on the last lap. How on earth? He got to 3rd position. Fisher was out of fuel. Balcazar was out of fuel. We could have got 3rd position in this race if we'd have not had to conserve our car. We could have got 3rd. What an absolute horror show. In terms of just the amount of bedlam that took place in the last couple of laps. That's the first race of the season for you. Right, but I mean, to be quite honest, let's take our hats off. A damn good start for Cruz in his first race for Phoenix Knights. 5th position. We gotta give him his dues. What a damn race! So, in terms of the all constructors, that's going to look very nice because we've also got Surikov, who by some we got to also Tariq's got it there. We've got to give Surikov some credit because he was in 17th position at the end of his first stint. We brought him in a lap early to get him into some clear air. He put the hammer down and managed to get back up into 9th and make his car last to the end of the race. So he did a damn good job. An unsung hero of sorts, if you will. But he's still got to take some of the blame for getting off to such a crappy start, but he did bring it back and we are thankful for that. So 12 points in the All Constructors title race. Good start. We're not bothered about the individual because we ain't going to win the damn thing, so let's just always focus on this one, and that is the Constructors. And so far we're ahead of Kitano, we're ahead of Windsor. Drink it in while it lasts because it might not last for too much longer. Judging by last season how they kicked on in the second half of the season, but for the most part, if we can make it count now while they're blundering around, we'll take it. So yeah, good first race. The aim for the season is to finish 5th. Our actual objective with the chairman is 6th again, like last season, but mentally I'm thinking if we can leapfrog one of these two and finish a place higher, that will show progress. If we can get 4th, that would be massive progress, and that would be a highly successful season indeed. It doesn't make much of a difference to the prize money because the actual merit bonus payments are quite level. They don't really reward the higher positions with much more money than the lower teams, so we all get roughly the same amount of coin, which actually when you're in a mid-table position is actually quite helpful. If I was a team in the top 2, I'd want to be in a position where the merit payments are heavily skewed towards finishing higher in the table. Well, for the time being we'll take it. Right, he's got medium tyres way more slowly, which is not something we're going to use too much, and he's losing why is he losing ability? He's only 27. Is he peaked and is he now on the decline? He's got actual potential left, so I don't know what's going on there. Our marketability slightly increases. and we only lost 1.6 million in the end. It was predicted 1.8. Where's the 1.6 come from? I do not have a clue. Right, Asia Pacific Cup. Wasn't it here where Valdez... No, was Valdez in the European? Valdez was in the European. He still has that horrific hairstyle, but look at that. He won the race and got the fastest lap. He's off to a flyer. Good job, Valdez. Ozu Motor Team. He didn't win it last season, came close. Is this going to be the season that Valdez regains, what, 6-7 years later, his European Racing Series title? We're going to follow his progress closely. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's 1.6 million. It's a little drop in the ocean, isn't it? With our 52 millions in the bank. No, I don't think he is. I don't know. Was it I can't remember the second season that he changed his hair just randomly, and he's had it ever since. Right, pit crew. Yeah, I'm auto-managing this now. I think we're still going to keep the same members for the next race anyway, so. Unless I see a horrendous decision with the pit crew, like somebody's subbed in and there are 15 or worse, then I'll take over and manage it. But whilst we've got 20s and 19s in the slots, I'll just let it tick along nicely. So let's have a look at the old interview then. I'd hate these damn things, but we'll try and play it by ear and see if we can manipulate them to our advantage. Hanafiori has been telling reporters that you're interested in signing. Oh, his agent. It's a her, isn't it? Oh, sorry, I'm reading this completely wrong. Hanafiori's agent has told us that we're interested in signing her. Is this true? No, it's not. She's far below our standards, with all due respect. She's like 4-star. There you go, rubbish. Thanks, Brian. Only being honest. No point in beating around the bush. Okay, pit crew review. 4 pit stops, a decently fast time of only 4.8 seconds. That's not bad at all. When you're refueling as well, that's a very quick stop. Mistake-free weekend. There's 15 more to go. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay, so we're going to do the car repairs. Car repair complete, and then we're going to start focusing on the improving the parts for the next race. Right, the next race is brakes, suspension and engine. Brakes, suspension and engine, but we also want to start increasing the performance of this new front wing. So the engine is 73% and 72%, so I reckon that's pretty much good to go, really. I'm quite happy with that. So we're going to swap out one of those slots for the new front wing. What else we got here? Brakes. So let's get the brakes up a level, and the engine and the suspension. So suspension also. And what's happening here? Have we got one too many? Right, if we're going to increase the front wing of that, there we go. Is that right? 6 slots? No, am I 1 slot down? I'm 1 slot down, aren't I? We're going to be using 2 front wings, aren't we? So I don't really want to start messing around with these. So what I'll do is I will focus on the engine here. And if we can get that above 80%, we can actually weight strip it for the next race. So we can start the weight stripping process. So brakes, yep. Suspension, yep. The new front wing to be used in the next race, fingers crossed. And that for weight stripping. Or if we actually got rid of that completely. No, that makes no sense. So, Yeah, I'm happy with that. So we have 3 new sponsor deals here available. So this is either 6th, 5th or 6th. Now I don't anticipate getting 5th or above or 6th or above regularly enough, unless I'm very much mistaken. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go for this one. I mean, it doesn't have the most upfront payment, but it's only for 3 races, which what the reason behind the thinking behind this is that we can use the 3 races to judge whether or not this is a viable no. No, upfront money I think is better. Yeah, I think upfront money is better. Change my mind. Because we still have these 2 running out in the next couple of races, so we can look to focus on these 2. This is the one that we're most likely to hit. Is a sort of 10th or above, 8th or above, 12th or above zone. This is always the 1st or above or 2nd or above, so not going to happen. Yeah, but I'm not using them though. I'm not using those bonuses. I'm using the 10th or above one, so the bonus per race makes no difference, because I'm not going to be selecting them in the race. We can design a new part. I don't know how long that's been available. Have I think it's just occurred. Or from payment. You're confusing me. 750 was the most upfront payment there, wasn't it? I picked that one. Right, we have both front wings now. Both front wings are ready. So I'm thinking it's only 2 days to go here, so there's no point. 53%. This is probably not going to be ready for the next race. I don't really want to race with it with less than 60%. So I think we'll let's have a look at the next race. Let's have a look at the next race here. Calendar, Beijing. Yeah, no front wing there either is crucial, so I think we can afford just to take a bit more time to get the reliability up on this front wing before we dive in. So we'll just have a couple of last little blasts with the engines. We'll save the front wings until the next period, pre-race. 71, 67, 72, 73, 78. Oh, I see what he's saying. He's saying that if I took the other one for less money, it would have been able to actually get another sponsorship quicker. So it may have yielded more money if, in the long run, if we'd have taken that one. I see where you're coming from, actually, from that perspective. It's a good point, but you can never guarantee what sponsors you're going to get. So take it while you can, whilst it's on the table. That's my that's my mentality. Take it while it's there. You can't guarantee what's going to come. Oh, here we go. Stop being negative! You've finished 5th in your first race in a team that is on the up. Come on! Get a grip. No, I chose the right one for the situation, but I think a point that he made was that if we'd have picked the 300k, it was only for 3 races. So after 3 races, we'd have got another sponsorship offer. So technically speaking, if you pick the one with the less races on it, you get more of them. Well, that's the point that I took from that anyway. But the upfront money that was on the table, we did pick the 750k, but that was for 7 races. Anyway, we're splitting hairs over like a couple of $100,000. We're losing millions. Although every little helps, I suppose. You're gonna take what you can. We can't check it, can we? I picked the one that was 750 up front. Yeah, I know which one I picked. I know which one I picked, but it's a balancing act. Do you take the 750 grand up front and take it for a longer race deal and therefore be stuck with it when you're not using the sponsorship deal? Because I'm not going to be using 6 or above. Do we stick with this for 7 races and therefore our £750,000 upfront payment effectively spreads across 7 races, which means that we're getting about 100 grand per race for this deal? Whereas if we go 300 grand for 3 races, we're getting the same, the same 100 grand roughly per race because it's only over 3 races. But then we might get a better sponsorship deal after 3 races for the shorter deal. So 300k over 3 races is slightly less, I agree. But as I said, we're splitting hairs over minor money. Now I'm getting sidetracked. The complexity of sponsorships. Yes, in real life it must be far more complicated than this. Can you imagine them poring over this? So, who shall we go with? Shall we go? I don't know. I don't know any sponsors in real life. I'm getting lost and confused. And also, we are wasting time here because we did not design a new part. Right, we've got 2 wings, 2 front wings built. So the question is, do we now develop our brake? Of course, we're going to develop front wings for next season. We're going to do that. And we only need to develop 2 more front wings for next season to use the epic parts. Do we do that towards the back end of the season, and do we focus instead on the brakes now and focus on brakes that we can use? Because if we start developing more front wings, we're not going to be using those and we're wasting time on this season's car. I'm thinking if we focus on parts for this season's car in the first half of the season, I think we should do that now. Last season I wasn't too bothered about last season's car because it wasn't good enough anyway. This season I think we've got a car that could realistically get us above Windsor or Kitano, and therefore I think we should be focusing on this season's parts. So with that in mind, I'm going to go for 2 sets of brakes that we can use. So we've got 2 wings we can use. Now we're going to go for 2 sets of brakes that we can use. The question is, do we go max or do we go current? I'm thinking we go max because we are going to develop these in season. So max performance is better than actual current performance in the long run. And then we'll go with that one next. No, we won't, because that's going to really. This is not an illegal part. We're going to go with this one next. 15 to max and 20 deceleration. Or we'll go with it, whichever one gives us the best jump. Right. Thankfully, we're starting with the parts that cost the least amount of money, which is good. Okay, so this is going a lot slower than I anticipated, but hey ho, I'm enjoying it, and we're not going to rush through. So we are done and done. We've done the car parts, we've got them reliable and fixed, we are done the car design, we've got 2 new wings to use, hopefully before the next race. We've sorted the sponsorship out after a little bit of humdrum. Let's go into the next race here. It's Yokohama. It's 19 laps, medium tyre wear. I'm thinking the tyres are going to be a bit more touch and go in this one. I'm thinking super softs maybe for a couple of stints, but we're probably going to have to use a set of softs somewhere along the lines. It's almost risky, isn't it? It's almost a little bit risky. Do we chance getting 6th or above here? The question is, it's the race maybe, but the qualifying no. Definitely not, and we're going to therefore be halved before we even start. So 10th or above is a lot more safe, and especially for qualifying. So I think we're going to go 8, 6, 1. I don't think we're going to need any medium tyres here. No way. The smoothness of our drivers is great. We're not going to need medium tyres here. So we're going to stop giving ourselves 2 sets of the hardest compound. We clearly don't need them, and just focus instead on the softest compounds. 8 and 6 seems like a good spread to me. It's going to be hot, it's going to be dry. Let's see if we can improve ourselves a little bit on this race. When I say we, I mean Sirikov, naturally. Because he's the one that let us down in the last race. He's the one that made me stressed. If he'd have driven a bit better, I wouldn't have had to push him so hard, risk his tyres going to Kaputskis, his car parts going all up in flames. It was stressful. Oh, it's raining. He said it was going to be dry. Good old weather forecast. Can never rely on it. Right, this is going to interfere with our qualifying, our practice, because we're not going to get as much running on the dry tyres, which means we're going to struggle to get the dry tyre performance levels that we need. But we can only work with what we have, and that is a bit of rain. Right, so we're going to be on the intermediate tyres. Yeah, but we need to load the setups, don't we? So let's have a look. It's Yokohama. Now, how many Yokohamas do we have? We only have one. So we'll use that and hope that it's going to be pretty much on the money. Okay, so we loaded the Yokohama setup for him. We load the Yokohama setup for him. So they should be the same, which they are. That's good. Waste stripping! Okay, so this is where we start to get a little bit in the realms of woohoo, a little bit on the edge. But Formula 1 is all about those slim margins, isn't it? All about those ultra milliseconds of performance. There's a difference between finishing first and second, or in our case 9th and 10th. Can we weight strip anything realistically here? The only thing we can possibly realistically weight strip, in my opinion, is the gearbox here. I think 70% is doable. That's a crucial part, so no. That's 71. Well, that's not a crucial part, but engines always degrade quicker than most other parts because they're always being pushed to some degree. This is well too low, and that's a crucial part. So I'm thinking 15 performance points there is reasonable. For Surikov, I'm thinking we can weight strip the gearbox and we can take the engine down to 76. I'm thinking that's reasonable. His rear wing's absolutely crap, but I'm thinking that's a reasonable, quite conservative weight stripping here. And we're getting those extra performance points now that we need to hopefully bridge that gap to the performance of the cars above us. That will do for me. Alright, we're off and running again, another practice session. So it's the same old performance here. Race trim, 2 laps. Intermediate tyres. Same for you. Race trim, inters, and out. And we're off. And we're in. Alright, okay, interesting. We'll start with Surikov because his is a better setup. It's not going to be anywhere near 95%, it's going to be 94, as you can see, nowhere near 95. Nowhere near! Downforce is an issue, so his downforce is there, just past the D. So I'll look at his downforce and see where his is, and his bars, and see if we can get an inkling as to which way it needs to go. His downforce is near the D, his bars are there, so there's no real inkling as to which way to move the bar, whether we need to move the bar up or down. So we just pick a direction and hope it's the right way. I'm going to go for a slightly lower downforce here. Although I'm thinking it's a high downforce, but I don't think it's that high, so I'm thinking a little bit less downforce, and then we'll have to compensate these two a touch. There we go, bring them back into line, and Surikov will have another run out on the inters. The weather's still wet for another lap, and for Cruz, whose setup actually is worse, I'm going to do the complete opposite, which means that at least with one of them I'll get it right. So we'll go higher downforce with him, about there, and we'll bring those back into line like that. Okay, and that's fine. Surikov is in first, and he's coming in afterwards. And one of them will have got it right. But which one? I'm thinking Sirikov. I'm thinking lower downforce was probably better here. No, it was wrong with Sirikov. We were wrong. Oh dear. Okay, so Cruz got it right. He's on a roll. He's all cruisy, isn't he? Finishing in 5th, getting the setup right. He was telling Sirikov all along, you're doing it wrong, Sirikov. You need to give yourself more downforce. Can you not feel the car beneath your feet? Can you not be one with the vehicle? What's wrong with you? They said you were a damn good driver. I'm not seeing it. He's all cocky cruisy here. Right, race trim's fine. One more set of race trim. And he's now 95%, which is perfectly reasonably A-OK. With that being I think 4 laps on race trim, and I think, yeah, that should be fine. Intermediate tyres. He's off out, which means that we will definitely get this right with Sirikov now, because we will use the original setup and then we'll just take it the other way. Near to the top end of its zone, get that down, and that's fine. Go 4 laps on race trim on Inter's tyres. This could be the first time that Sirikov is outperformed by a teammate. I mean, Sunding did run him close in the earlier days, but the back end of her time you could quite clearly see she was struggling. But Cruz is looking like he's got some driving nous. He can't brake, but who needs to brake? It's all about speed. It's all about speed. You got to go fast. What do you need to slow down for? Oh dear. He's going to be a character, I can feel it now. He's going to be a character, it's all cruisy. We could have a new favourite. I'm going to bring him in now and switch him quickly to dry tyres so it can... Oh look, the track is going to continually be wet here. But I could do with them super softs being given some performance boost. So, we're going to go qualifying trim, 3 laps on the super softs. Come on, Cruzy, where the hell are you? He's just feeling out the car. He's fine. He's just doing an extra lap. He doesn't, you know, he just wants to make sure everything is right. You can't be slapdash about these things. I'd expect to win championships when you can't even set the car up properly. It's starting to rain again, but that shouldn't really affect the tyres a bit too much. The tyre performance increasing, because it's only mildly damp is the track, so that should be okay at this point. And our times aren't too shabby, 5th and 7th, but as we saw from qualifying, these practice times mean nothing. Yeah, the tyres are going up quite slowly now compared to the trim of the actual qualifying of the 3 laps. Use another set of tyres if you wish. Same with you, please. Quickly. Let's see if we can get that trim maxed out before the end of the the practice session. We may do it. I think we're going to do it. We're going to do it, it's fine. Come on. Right, come on. Yes, we're there. The trouble is, are we going to be able to use them? Actually, we could have checked that. We could have checked that when we were looking at the tyres. We could have checked how many laps they can do. We could have checked. I think. Well, that means nothing. Obviously the practice session was fraught with frantic weather conditions. It is now cloudy/sunny. Is there going to be a prospect of rain? I don't think so. I think the forecast for the race was dry and sunny, so in qualifying there's no inkling it's going to rain here. Let's have a look. Super softs and qualifying trim. Weight stripping is done. Tyre choice of the super softs, of course, for both drivers. Simulate the session. Fingers crossed. Come on. A better session this time, please. I want 8th and 9th. Not that I'm greedy, but come on. Got a little bit of weight stripping going on now. We've got some confidence going on now. I want 8th and 9th. 7th and 10th will do. Sirikov out-qualifying his teammate so far. He's back with a bang. His old Sirikov here. He was not going to be outdone by his new teammate coming in thinking, oh, I spoke too soon. Cruz whops in with a 1 minute 9.658. He out-qualifies Sirikov. Oh, 7th and 8th looks a hell of a lot more promising to my eyes than 9th and 13th, or whatever the hell it was. This is better. This is better. And that's a bit of weight stripping, bit of confidence. That's what it does to you. When we put those wings on, when we put those brakes on, when we get our gearbox and engine weight stripped to the max, I think we're going to be competitive this season. I really do. I'm optimistic here. This is a good sign. This is a good sign. 7th and 8th. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Out qualifying Rick de Graaf and Kitano, which is always a always a damn good result, because he is the qualifying specialist, is Rick de Graaf, as we know. He is a qualifying expert. So if we've out qualified him, our car must be pretty damn good. Windsor, 11th and 12th. Again languishing behind the Kitanos. They are ripe for the picking this season. Panther, you're lame. Lame, lame, lame. Right. Let's get the strategy right. It's important that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot when we're performing so well. Did he say he was disappointed? I'm telling you, this man has high standards. He must do. He's coming here, he's ripping apart Sirikov at every turn, he's criticising his setup choices, he's moaning about the car not being fast enough, and he's disappointed with his qualifying position. He's a man of high standard. We're going to have to really... it's good for the team. He's raising the level. He's making sure that we're all performing to our best to provide him with a car befitting of his ambition. Right, 19 laps, which means it's 2 6s and a 7 at the very least, 2 7s and a 5 possibly. That's a bit more of a push. Let's have a look at the tyres. What can they do? They can do 8 to 10, so that we should get with Cruz at least 8 to 10. We should get 3 super soft stints here. We should get yeah, I'm streaming Motorsport Manager. It's been a good session so far. You've missed a barnstormer of a race in the first race of the season. So we can get 3 sets of super soft stints here for Cruz, certainly. We'll check Sirikov out, but what do we think in terms of the strategies? Opening up to my technical advisors again. I'm thinking for Cruzy, again we're going to go for the same strategy again, same sort of thing possibly. I'm thinking we'll bring him in, we'll do a 6 with him to start with. Do a 6, do a shorter stint, so give him 1 lap less, bring him in a 6, do 2 7s. Well, it's 2 6s and a 7. So 6 6 7 or 6 7 6, whichever, depending on the traffic conditions and whether we need to be a bit more adaptable in the race. But I think we start him on the 6, start him on the lighter fuel load, because he's got track position, he gets the call, he likes to light fuel, get the track position, and drive aggressively early. So we'll give him the shorter of the again starting fuel, 8 laps. It always has me thinking, have I done something wrong? We definitely took a lap of fuel out, right? So we're doing 6 laps with him. So 7 laps of fuel. It doesn't register. It just doesn't register. Which is bizarre. Right, he can still do 8 to 10 as well, so he's going to do a... If he's having full laps, he's coming on and doing the 7. He's doing the 7. So he's got the full fuel. He's got the super soft tyres, and the temperatures are 25. Again, it's going to be pretty warm, so we might have to do a bit more tyre conservation in this one. I think the tyre conservation in the last race was a little bit out of control. Rein it in a touch this time, just to be on the safe side. Alright. Knowledge. Knew I missed something. Super softs and race trim. Of course. Nothing else will suffice. Right guys, again, fingers crossed. Keep watching. If you see I'm doing something wrong or something I could be doing better, shout it out. We're working together here to get the best positional finishes possible. We're going to do it this season, I'm telling you. Big things are going to occur. Pascal Becker first. Steinman. Scuderia Rossini pass Sani in second after we got your number, pal. You scraped by us by the skin of your teeth in that last race. Must be a good driver though, because you got your car home with broken parts for 4 laps. Balcazar third, Fisher in fourth. We got the Panthers 5th and 6th again. And look at that. That's a sight for sore eyes, is it not? Lissandro Cruz, Surikov 7th and 8th. We like that. De Graaf and De Wolf in 9th and 10th. And in came the animals 2 by 2. The Kitano, the Phoenix Knights and the Panthers too. And we're off! We're off! Who's going to get the better start here? Lights are on! 5 lights! And it's go, and Cruz has just been static there. His foot did something alien. He didn't. Oh, but he's made it back up again. he's toying with Surikov. He's saying, "Here you go, Surikov. Have a head start. I'll still pass you, mate." Holy mackerel! And we are bunched up here far too close. Somebody's wing is bound to fly off here, surely. As Surikov, despite the fact that his teammate was stationary on the line, still finds himself behind him. Good old Cruz, he's having a right old laugh this season, I'm telling you. He's toying with his opponents. He shows no mercy. He shows no mercy. In the first lap is over, and we are currently in 6th and 7th position, which is pretty nice. We've moved up a place from our qualifying spots. We're just going to make sure that we're in line with everybody else here, with our tyres, with our engines. Our parts are better than they were in the last race, so I'm less concerned about condition of the car and more concerned about tyre wear now, so we can be a bit more flexible with the engine and stuff. Yeah, she was forced retired. So, you know, like one of those people that you just kind of think, you just got to go now, come on, we'll give you a nice remuneration package, off you go. You've done your time. She wanted to race on, but we had to just had to let her go. We held a big party for her. All right. So Cruz is there. It looks like De Graaf has passed Surikov, which is rather disappointing. But we come to the end of lap 2 here, and we've got tyres just beginning to go up a touch there, so we're just going to turn them down now. I think we can do. Everybody else is turning them down at roughly at the same time, and we have a little bit of fuel to play with. Not much. I think if we can turn it down to high, we might get a couple more laps on high, and then we'll have to turn that down as well. But just taking it nice and steady here. No need to go too crazy. As long as we're outperforming the Windsors and the Kitanos, we're doing fine. At the moment we're not, because they're obviously now in 6th and 8th, which is better than us, but I think the Kitanos are going to be tough to beat this season, despite our good start. And definitely the Windsors have slipped. I mean, look at them. They're battling with the Rosato Corsas here. They're definitely, they're right for the picking here. They really are. So we've still got enough fuel to keep pushing for now. Still got enough fuel to keep pushing, and Cruz is on the back here of De Wolf. And of course we also have Fisher in the Steinman, who's not streaking off into the distance. So he's actually crawling all over the back here of De Wolf, and he's passed. He ain't staying behind him for too long. He ain't messing around here, old Cruzy. He's battling hard, doing a good job. Sirikov is slipping behind slightly here. Rather disappointing again. Cruz leading the way. You're gonna have to show some backbone, Sirikov, here. Your religious mumbo jumbo is getting in the way of your performances. When he loses that trade, he'll get +1 back to all his stats. And that will make a massive difference. He'll go from 4.5 star straight back up to 5 star, and that will be the deciding factor, I think. When he's back to full speed, I think Cruz will have a race on his hand. Anyway. Oh, look at that. He's beginning to hold up the cars behind him. A bit of a train is forming behind Sirikov. And we've got one more lap. So we're going to go for full push here on Cruz. He's coming in after this lap now. So full pushing. And look at that. He's passing a Steinman on the track. Like he wasn't even there. Just swept past. I like what I'm seeing here. Right, fuel options. He's short stopped, so we're going to go for the long stop in the middle. I think we'll go, well, it was 667, wasn't it? So I think what we'll do is we'll have another 6. We'll have another 6. Short fuel him, keep him there. He's doing well. We'll have the 7 on the last stint. Just keep him going. Keep that momentum going. Don't have him stationing the pits for too long, putting too much fuel in. Just give him enough laps to do, enough fuel to do 6 laps. And then off he'll go again. He's just swept past a Steinman, sorry, like it wasn't even there, and he's pulling away now. I mean, this is unbelievable stuff. This really is unbelievable stuff. I'm just going to take him down to medium, just so that he doesn't run out of fuel right before his pit stop. Just have to be careful of Sirikov's fuel levels here. He's crossing the line just about now, and he's going to now put his car in push tyre mode. He's going to have to also do so he's done the 7 to start with, hasn't he? So he could also do a 6. So both cars doing a 6 now, and they shouldn't come on. They shouldn't be back in the pit on the same lap, should they? Because he's done 6 and then 6, so he's coming lap 12. He's done 7 and 6. He's coming lap 13. So we still avoid each other. Okay. 9.7 form and 9.5. Yeah, that's, I didn't notice that, but that explains why they're doing so well. They're loving their drive. I think they're spurring each other on here. I think they're spurring each other on. So he's come out into 16th position, which isn't ideal. Isn't ideal, but whoa, tyre. Where is he? He's got clear track though. This is good. He's got clear track. This is really good for him. Not being held up by other cars. We're just giving him overtake mode now for a lap or two, just for that undercut. Let's see where he shakes up after all of the cars have done their pits. He's going. Don't get stuck behind him! No! I hate that! Oh, come on. Right. Well, the line astern, the two cars. The line astern here, which is not too bad. We should have got past Chapman there. We should have got past that Chapman. Right, so Sirikov's got a lap too much fuel, is that what we're saying here? I'd push it, but his rear wing is looking a bit bad. Damn this fuel issue. Anyway, Cruz is up into 4th, and Sirikov is just... Ooh, he's battling with some really fast cars there. He's got Scuderia Rossini, he's got Panther, he's got Steinman all around him. I didn't realise that somebody crashed out. Huh. But they're the cars. We're not bothered about those cars. It's the cars that the Kitano. Look at him. He's battling with Parsani. He's battling with Parsani here. If our drivers were in one of the top 2 teams, they'd be blitzing the field. They would be blitzing the field. They really would. I didn't think we had to worry about condition of the parts, but I really do think we've got to worry about the condition of the rear wing for Sirikov. Cruz is cruising round in 4th, but he does have a rather quick Fisher all over the back of him. I think we're going to struggle to keep him behind. I don't really think we should be hindering ourselves by pushing too hard unnecessarily here. We'll just stick to our strategy. We know what we're doing. I think now's the time we can put pushing the tyres a little bit. Just keep our pace as it is. Try not to react too much to what the other cars are doing if we don't need to. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to push Sirikov as well. So push on both cars. Just keep an eye on that condition. Cruz is fine, he's nice and smooth. He's Mr. Smooth. He is a definition of Mr. Smooth. Silky smooth. And he is gaining on Chapman here. He is a podium. Good grief. Could a podium be on the cards here? Right, we're going to pit him in. It's his final stop. Soft tyres, super soft tyres coming on. We're going to be putting on enough fuel for him to finish this race. Park conditions are fine. Pit strategy's on. Let's get cracking. Let's get him in. Sirikov, on the other hand, has a little bit more to play with. What we're going to do with Sirikov is go attack mode. Be really aggressive. I don't... Probably that's not wise, given his rear wing, so we'll take that back. Take that back. I'm thinking I'm going to bring Sirikov in as well. This is... No, I'm not. Cancel that. We're going to be stacking, aren't we? Yeah. So he's going to do one more lap here, Sirikov. One more. And then bring him in. He'll be stationary for less time because he's got more fuel in already, so he doesn't have to stop for fuel. As much fuel. So there is Cruz. The only issue with Cruz now is there's going to be potentially traffic to worry about. He's got far too much fuel. Far too much. Right, pit him now. So I'm going to have to sort this fuel situation out because obviously the game doesn't really... So we'll go there. And there. Did I change the tyres? Did I change the tyres? I think I did. Let me know. Please check. Did I change the tyres? Quickly. Did I change the tyres? Right, he can push. His car's fine, right? So I'm going to actually go overtake mode for a couple of laps with him. Push on the tyres. We'll do push on the tyres later. Sirikov is coming around for his pit stop. Let's hope that we did change the tyres because we're gonna. I think we should. I think we did. I think we did. It's too late now. We're in. Tyres changed. Fuel going in. Out he comes. Out he comes. Out he comes. Out he comes. Not ahead of Cruz, surely. Out he comes. Oh, that was close. Oh, he's stuck behind him again. He's stuck behind bloody Chapman again. Flipping hell. Get out of my way, you damn old biddy. Loads of cars to pit ahead of us here. We've been slowed down. So there's 15, 16, 17, 18. There's 5 laps of fuel after this. So we're not massively overfueled, actually. Not massively overfueled. Right, let's have a look at the park conditions here. We've still got a fair few laps to do here, so we don't want to go too mad. So take it down to high. He, on the other hand, has got more of a problem. So take him down to normal. We'll focus on pushing Cruz to get as many points as possible. We'll just get Sirikov round and just hopefully get some points to consolidate. There's nobody else to pit ahead of us. Parsani's tyres are looking a little bit short. He might struggle to get those round to the end of the race, but we saw how he nursed his car with a broken part, so I mean, this will be a walk in the park for him, surely. Still got plenty of condition left in this car. Still got plenty of condition left. So we'll do, I think, one more lap on this setup, and then we're going to go push. We're going to start to crank it up. We've got a De Graaf catching up. We don't want De Graaf getting past us. That is one thing we do not want to happen. These cars behind us are all pushing their engines, pushing their tyres, and we are not, but Fisher's always going to get past us. I mean, he's in a faster car. It's De Graaf I'm more concerned about. We'll let Fisher past. We're going to crank up the heat now. We're going to crank up that heat. We've got a little bit of life left in the part, so we're going to turn to overtake, and then we're going to turn to push. Surikov has got no troubles from behind, so he doesn't have to do anything crazy. So just keep him as he is, and he should be okay. We need to pounce on Parsani, because Parsani, look at him, he's obviously conserving his tyres at this point. He's obviously going very slow. We need to get past, because he's backing us up into De Graaf here. Come on. Come on. Chapman could be right for the picking at some point in this race, and we're past the Steinman now. Have we got enough fuel to finish this race? Just, I think. He's got a part problem. The rain is now coming, right at the end. Look at the laps of fuel here. This is touch and go if we're going to have enough laps of fuel left. Oh, yeah, we've got one more lap to do after this, haven't we? We're low on fuel. We're going to have to conserve fuel right at the death. The tyres, I've churned through the flipping tyres. What have I done here? I've lost control of this race in the dying seconds. I've been daydreaming. Surikov is now pushing. Cruise's tyres and the track is damp. And we're conserving because we're low on fuel. Holy mackerel. I mean, I'm happy with 6, don't get me wrong, but maybe 4th could have been on the cars. He's got a 10 on this form rating. Oh no! You curses! Even Sirikov's gonna pass him! He's like, oh bloody hell! Oh Lord! I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened there. What a calamity! Yeah, that's one way to put it. Oh dear. It just can't. I don't know what happened. I just completely and utterly thought we were cruising and happy, and it's a good job I realised we didn't have enough fuel, otherwise we'd have run out of fuel, and the tyres were gone. And I was like, what? What race have I been watching? Okay. Still a strong result though. It is, yeah. But that could have been better. Obviously De Graaf got ahead of us at the end, however the second Kitano car didn't get in the points, so we still get more points than them, I think, in the constructors. What could have been? I reckon we could have got 5th at least without screwing that up. But anyway, 7th and 8th after a bit of a calamity is still progress, right? It's still progress. A calamity in this last season may have seen us finish 10th or 11th. So the fact that we're getting 7th and 8th with a calamity is still signs of progress. It really is. Okay, so 7th and 8th, Sirikov is 6 and 4 is 10, so we still gain 2 points gained on the constructors front. So there we are. We are 22 points to Kitano's 14, and look at Windsor. Oh yeah, that's music to my ears. That's a sight that I like to see, languishing down there, struggling away. Ha ha ha, we like it. Make the most of it while it lasts. Uli Engelbrecht wants to see Phoenix Knights on the top, and he likes Lissandro Cruz. Very good, Uli, very good. He is an interesting character, I will admit. He is a very interesting character. Let's aim for third. Fourth place is ours. Let's aim for third. We're going to aim as high as we can. Look at the form ratings. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. That makes me worried though, because if they didn't perform that high, then where would we have finished? Why is he losing? Stop losing. It's only very minor. And 1.6 million again. We can live with that. We can live with that. Alright. So we've got time for one more race here. We've got time for one more race, although we may have to get the pre-race stuff done a little bit more quickly. I'm supposed to be going out in half an hour. If we can go for third, we can go for second. Why not go for the whole hog? Becca, interview. Which one of your drivers is better? Oh no! Oh, this is gonna annoy one of them. If we pick the bottom answer, it's probably going to annoy both of them. Who do I think is the better driver? If I was to be honest, it's Surikov. However, I think because Surikov is struggling for the next 4 weeks, giving Cruz the boost would be better overall for our form. So I'm going to say Cruz because he is driving better right now. But for a cock-up with the Potter strategy, Cruz would have finished higher than Surikov in the last race. And he's out-qualified Surikov twice. So at the moment, Cruz is doing a damn good job. Anyway, his morale is already high, so nothing lost, nothing gained. And the pit stops was slower than the last race, which is... well, it was mistake-free, so we'll take it, we'll take it, we'll take it. Okay, we're still looking good on the pit stops there. We're still looking good with the pit stop stats, so I won't change them just yet. Next race I may have a look at them because we're starting to get a bit of stamina problem, so next race I might have a bit more of a closer look. Okay, so we're going to have to fast forward just a couple of days to fix the parts, and then we shall focus on what parts for the next race. So it's engine, gearbox, brakes. Engine, gearbox, brakes. Engine, gearbox and brakes. Right, let's just think about this. Let's just think. Brakes are already high enough, right? 72 and 76. I'm happy with them. I'm happy with them right about now. The engine I'm also happy with as it currently stands. So engine, gearbox. Gearbox is also high enough for me. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm only going to go for those two. Nothing else. Actually, probably the rear wing as well, actually, because the rear wing's a little bit shoddy. So if we could just focus on these two and these two, all the others are fine. And that should bring us up to a position where we can use these in the next race. Our improved wings. So that's going to be good. Yeah, I like that. That seems to be a reasonable strategy. I put one staff into performance. Does it make them really? One little lowly staff member. How much difference does it make? Oh, 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 oh. 12, 16. Who's 16? Who's 12? What's happening? What numbers are you throwing around? We'll put one staff member in, just to make you happy. We got a new sponsored deal, and oh, we've just had the Japanese race as well. We would have got like a 3 times bonus here. That would have been awesome. Oh, the 16 races in a season, yes. 16. Oh, sorry, I didn't see the question right. It's right in front of my face. So this is the bonus that is gettable, and therefore we really need to focus on the bonus per race stat. and obviously this is the highest one. We don't get an upfront payment, but we are going to be using this, so I am going to accept this offer. Thank you very much. Alright, so car performance is on the go. 1 day till the brakes are finished, which makes me wonder, why are we improving the... We're not improving the performance of the brakes, so forget what I'm saying. Brakes done! Let's design a new set, shall we? Yes, is the answer to that one. So we're going to go for that, and then we're going to go for that. 1282, 1349. Wow, this is actually better, right? Wait a minute, my eyes deceiving me. Let me just check here. 1282, 1349. These are better. These are much better. Not much better, but they are better than that. 1282, 1349, 1302, 1354, 13... Yeah, these are better. These are better. Better. 1354, 1349. Okay. So, yeah. These are usable for this season. The second set of usable brakes. So when they're done in 7 days' time, which is actually before the race, which is pretty handy because we can use these in the not the Beijing race, but we can use these in the race after Beijing. So then we'll have 2 new wings, 2 new brakes, and then we're good to continue our progress. I think we might go for... Well, I don't know. I may ask you. I may ask your opinion. What should we go for after that? What should we focus on next? Engine, maybe? Engine is slipping a little bit. Engine is in the yellow, so we could do with some more power, some more horses. Never a bad thing, right? Extra horsepower. Alright, let's go back and let's advance the time. Uh, 10 days. Keep going. Ooh, you got a European Racing Series race. It's Munich. It's round 2. What's Valdez gonna do? Pole position bonus. That reminds me. We should. Oh, it's not Valdez. Where is he? He's finished in 7th. 2 points. Oh, he's slipped up a little bit there, hasn't he? Never mind, Valdez. Hair get in your eyes, did it? Probably. Let's have a look at the voting. What are we voting for this season? We are voting to replace Vancouver D with Track A. Well, doesn't really make much of a difference, I suppose. It depends how good the track is when it, how it suits our car, I suppose. What are we doing? Virtual safety car only. I'm not fussed about that change either, really. Medium length qualifying sessions. I don't know what we've got at the moment. I think we've got short. So this gives us more time to get our laps in, which again doesn't really bother me. Promotion bonus payments. Teams promoted are given an additional 10 million bonus. No, thank you. We don't want to help the cripples. We don't want to help the cripples catch up to the rest of us. I mean, all those rule changes are pretty... Well, they don't really affect us massively, so we'll play it by ear, depending on how we feel at the time and how they might affect us, according to the what the rule change tells us. Anyway, new part. So we have new brakes times 2. We have new front wings times 2. We're going to develop the brakes and the front wing for next season a little bit later. Another 2 of them and another 2 of them, with epic parts and great parts. So what's next? I'm thinking engine. Personally, I'm thinking the engine is the lowest part out of the other ones that we don't have. It's probably the most important part. I haven't fit them yet. They're still being repaired. I mean, we can still fit them, to be honest. You don't have to have them fixed to be fit, but we could fit them and see where it puts us in the performance graphs, if you like. So who had the better front wing? 62 and 70. They're coming along nicely. So Sirikov had the worst front wing of the 2. They're both the same at the moment, but one's got a better potential. So we'll give him that one and that one like that. So he's got the better potential. Okay, so that'll kick in towards the end of the season anyway. And it's actually better to give him this one as well, because it's got the lower reliability and he's the smoother driver, so that works out well as well. So how does that look on the graphs? Still pretty poor. Still miles behind. We're still miles behind. Even though the wings have been fit, it hasn't really moved the graph up a great deal. But as they develop and through the season, I'm sure will benefit them. Right, we need to. I'll tell you what we need to do. We need to. Bear with me here. Bear with me. We need to start increasing the performance of these quite aggressively, because there's a lot of performance left in these. So I'm thinking eventually, once we've got these front wings and the new brakes reliability up, what we're going to do is we're going to put more staff into performance. That's what we're going to do. Get our performance levels up as quickly as possible. Alright. Let me just check here. Just checking. Engine and gearbox, that's fine. Anyway, we were designing a new part. I got distracted. So yes, I'm going with a new engine. I think that's the order of the day. And we're going to go with an engine that we can... Again, we're going to go with the same strategy. We're going to go with 2 engines that we can use, and then 2 engines to use for next season. Obviously, this is the only engine that gives us any boost to performance figures, and it's not a big boost either. So, and naturally, none of these components are very good for the engine, are they? The engine components are pretty crap. Outside of the unreliable, outside of the risky ones. Well, we have to unlock them anyway, so... I'm wondering then if we should do the gearbox first. If we're going to get more use out of the gearbox, which we will do, yeah. I'm going gearbox first now. Change my mind. These components are better to use in season than the engine components. So building that one, and it's going to take less time to build. There we go. Somebody's happy with our deceleration. I am unhappy with that deceleration. Brakes are torrid. I think I made a boob. No, I haven't made a boob. Yeah, we have 2 brakes now. So 2 front wings, 2 brakes, and soon to be 2 gearboxes. Right, okay. That's fine. Yes, we have new brakes, don't worry. They're just being fixed. Reliability is just being fixed. That's all, nothing to worry about, even though when they are fixed they're still going to be rubbish. Scouting reports, yes, we're not bothered. We have our drivers now. We're happy with our drivers. Here we are, Beijing, the final race of the session. Let's hope that's going to be a good one. 10th or above again, perfect. Medium tyre wear, but the hardest compounds, which means that we're going to be using nothing but the soft tyres here. So we'll go 9, we'll go 5. In fact, we can even go 10-4 if we wish, but no, 9-4. 9-5-1 is 9-5-1. 9-5-1. Part fitting is fine. Let's have a look. Is he on a short contract? They're both these guys' contracts expire at the end of this season. Okay, that is my call. Okay, but I'm going to finish this race first. Okay, lovely. Okay, so yeah, we're going to sort these 2 contracts out around about the halfway point in the season. Otherwise they may start looking elsewhere, and we don't want that to happen. Imagine losing these 2. It'd be a massive blow to our team, would it not? Indeed it would. Right, tyre selection has been saved. Sponsorship deal is done. Let's crack on. Can we get this race right? Come on. Can we get this race right? Last one, we made a boob. Let's go. Let's go and get this one right. Let's not let the drivers down. They're doing their bit, and it's... I thought it was raining there for a second. Yeah, we'll check that actually out at the end of the session. We'll check where she is. Where is old Sunday? Has she got another team, or has she retired? Has she retired gracefully? Beijing! There we go. And load the setup. And Beijing. And weight stripping! Here we go! Old weight stripperoonie. That's going to be weight stripped. That's not going to be. That's not going to be. That's going to be 85% now on the old rear wing reliability. We've really coaxed that up nicely. 75 is fine there, and I think we're going to go 71 with the suspension. So look at that, 60 points in weight stripping now. The weight stripping is coming along a real treat. 2 points of weight stripping there. 81's fine, 72 is fine, 85 there, we're going 75 there, that there, and we'll go 71 there. Alright, so a little bit more on the weight stripping front, which always helps performance. We have our new front wings on, which is also giving us a slight extra bit of performance. The drivers are in good form, which is also probably worth a bit more in performance. So all in all, I'm thinking this should be a good race for us. Now that I've cursed myself, it's probably going to be a torrid race. But we'll see what happens. This is going to be the one, folks. Don't go anywhere. I've got a feeling we could be pushing for a podium. I've just got a feeling. I've got a feeling that we could be pushing for a podium today. I'm telling you now. Right, let's get the tyres sorted. Out you go. Come on, let's do this. We're damn confident. This is. Do not let me down, people. Race trim, 3 laps. Do not let me down, guys. Do not let me down. Surikov, Cruz, do not let me down. It's a short lap, is this, isn't it? It's a very short lap. Ooh. So his setup, old Cruzy here, is 96. That'll do. That'll certainly do. We'll do 6 laps on race trim, and soft tyres is plenty. Ooh, Surikov not quite so happy with the setup though. Not quite so happy. Ooh, form 3.9. What's happened there? Just plummeted all of a sudden. Right, his handling needs to move. I'm going to say his handling needs to be more understeery. So we've got 2 clicks on the understeer. And bring that back in there. And that should do us, right? I think so. But he got it wrong last time, so let's hope that Cruz doesn't have to laugh in his face. Although Cruz is already laughing in his face because old Cruzy has got his setup just where he wants it straight away. Whereas Surikov has to go out and do another 1 lap stint to get it right. Whereas Cruz is now cruising around and getting used to his... Oh, wrong way. He's cocked up again. Cocked up again. It's just not good. It's just not good, man. Other way. That should be it then. Right, so now do your stint. Now get your tyres on and off we pop. See, he's happy with the handling, he's happy with life, old Cruzy. He'd probably give old Potter and the rest of the team a right old blasting after the farce that happened at the back end of the last race. So they're probably fearing getting something wrong this race. You know, they better get his strategy right. Otherwise, he is going to scream the garage down. I think maybe he's got him running scared. Anyway, let's bring these guys in. We've already maxed out the performance. Okay. So that's looking much better now for Surikov. He's now at a 90, I reckon 95, not bad. We could obviously eke out a bit more if we were desperate, but we're not. 95 is plenty. And second set of tyres. Alright, and race trim, no, qualifying trim, 3 laps. I've used the wrong tyres, I've used the wrong flipping tyres. Yes, you're right, I just noticed that. He's just not, he just wanted to make sure, you know, that those were, you know, just getting that extra bit of extra bit of experience on them, just to make sure that he's got them just right. We're going to need one more stint here, I think, just to get the maximum out of these things. A 2-lap stint's going to be plenty. Medium tyres still. I think that'll do it. Yes, indeed, it will. Righty-ho then. So that's another good qualifying session. All the trim's done, all the tyres done that we need to. Unfortunately, Surikov's dropped off in form. No, there's no streaming problems, I don't think. Not to my knowledge. All the signs are in the green on my settings. Unless you're talking about the time of the stream or not showing on the notifications, which seems to be the problem that's happened. Alright. Unfortunately, our times are a little bit slower than I would have liked in previous practice sessions, but hopefully that won't be an indication of things to come, because I was hoping for a podium finish. I've promised all my fans out there, Phoenix Knights, Potter's said it categorically. I've got a feeling we're going to get a podium today. He's feeling the car is in good form. You know, everything's all the stars are lining up. Right, the issue I've got with this race, I think from past memory, is there's a lot of laps. Where's the laps? Car setup. Oh, this is qualifying, right? This is not the race. Okay. Okay, what's going on here? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on here? I won't be winning any races if I can't even distinguish between qualifying and the race, which is not a good sign. Right, it's going to be dry. Temperatures have plummeted. Soft tyres and qualifying trim. Soft tyres and qualifying trim. Alright. Now we're cooking. So, what are we going to do in qualifying? Come on, keep your fingers crossed. We've got that performance boost, we've got the new wings on, the weight stripping, we've got drivers. Well, Cruz is in form, Sirikov not so much. Ooh, no, ooh, we're not happy with that. Come on, improve your times. Not happy with that. Improve your times. Yeah, I'm not happy with that really, but it's better than... Come on, no! Yeah, ooh! Damn and blast! Oh, I don't know whether to be happy or sad about this. I am quite sad because there's two Kitanos ahead of us. But not by a lot. Actually, yeah, by a lot. The graph is what? 4 tenths? Well, 3 tenths faster than Cruz. 4 than Sirikov. Well, just less than 4. Again, the Windsors are behind. I think we've ascertained that the Windsors aren't going to be a threat this season, unless they improve massively in the second half. They are showing signs of going backwards in terms of their performance levels from last season. They've really had a horrendous pre-season. So I do think it's the Kitanos we have to be concerned with here, and they have done one over on us today. But let's not be downcast. Let's not be downbeat. There's still a race to be had. Strategy or two. We could be alright. I think it's also safe to say that we're probably not going to get a podium here. I think that's going to be out the window here. Unless there's some rain. No, there's no rain, is there? Yeah. Fat chance of that happening. Bit of rain to spice it up would have been nice. Alright. Let's have a look at the tyre strategy here, because I don't quite know what the strategy is going to be. Alessandro Cruz, once again, for the third race in succession, has out-qualified Sirikov. And actually, we can get his performance up by taking his downforce down a smidgen. That's going to increase his set up a smidgen more. Tyre choice. Right, we have 26 laps. So although, you see, it's going to be 2 8s, isn't it? 2 8s and a 9. No. 2 9s and an 8. Which means that the soft tyres are going to be a push to get 3 stints on the soft tyres. So I'm thinking we're going to have to do maybe 2 softs and a medium here. This is interesting. Right, he's doing 8 laps to start with his cruise, and I think 8s, we can't make the. I think we're going to have to do 3 medium stints here, you know. I mean, obviously we've got the medium performance, not a problem. 8, 8, 10. No, I don't think 10's going to be. I think we're going to go mediums here. The temperatures of the track are quite low, and also, so we're going to struggle to get heat into these, but it means we can push them, and if we can push, this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough one, is this one. Right, we're going 8 laps for him, so 9 laps of fuel. He's coming in lap 8. So he's doing 8.99. Sirikov is going to do. He's going to do a 9 lap stint on the first set. Now he's going to have to make these tyres last. So he's going to do 9. Get some heat into these bad boys. Right, this is going to be a race of attrition, is this one. I kind of remembered from the last couple of seasons that this is a long race. This is a race where tyre wear is an issue, and Sundin had particular issues here, but thankfully these drivers have the decent smoothness, so it should not be a problem with these two, but we can't really push too much. We've got to get the cars home on this one. So we are going to see what comes here and get the knowledge on. I think medium tyre knowledge is going to be more useful to us than soft tyres, so we're going to go medium and race trim. Car setup's done, strategy is done. Let's get going. So one last look at the grid for the session here, the final grid of the session, and once again it is Steinman on pole with Becker in second for the first front row lockout of any team. Passani third and Balcazar fourth. He seems to have qualified pretty well, but then in the race he really struggles. Chapman fifth, it's not 2 by 2. Graf splits them in 6th, Sylvander 7th, 8th de Wolf, and we've got a lockout of this 5th row, Cruz and Sirikov 9th and 10th. Pretty close in performance. Let's see which one of them has the better race. Go, 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 go! And once again, Cruz has got off to a slow start. And don't let a Windsor past you, whatever you do. And look at that guy, he's just gone right out of it. Completely forgot to brake. That's usually Cruz, isn't it? He's one with a low braking. But for the first time this season, it looks like Cruz has got the worst start in overall. He got a bad start in the last race, but he made it up in the second phase. This time, he's all out of it. And I think it might be because we're on the slower tyre, ultimately. But I think that will benefit us in the long run. I think we can actually push these tyres harder because it's colder and they have more durability, so we need to make up for the lack of performance of the tyres by pushing them harder. Also the car condition should be okay now, so although it is a long race, so we're going to have to was that a chariot car? Who the hell is that? Hannah Fiore. Yeah, look at her. She's making these Aussie hours, isn't she? We don't want her driving in our team, no! And then she's now slowing us down. Good job, love. Good job. Right, we'll zoom in a little bit here. So Cruz in 10th. It's a long way. Oh, Sirikov's off! He's into the barriers! No! Holy mackerel, he's gone off. A yellow flag. Sector 3. He's out of the race. No! Oh no, Surikov is buckling under the pressure. He's buckling under the pressure. Damn it, we're going to have a really good race with Cruz now. The only bonus to this is I can actually focus on one car and get the strategy right. Because we're going to have to do, aren't we now? We are completely and utterly screwed here. We've got to get massive points here with this one car. Right. Turn that down. Keep this car pushing hard for the time being. We've got De Graaf all over the back of us. He is the lead Kitano car, so keeping him behind us is definitely something that we need to do here. Too high on the engine mode. I think maybe tyre, not tyre wear. What do you call it? I think fuel burn here is pretty high. So we've got 3 laps. We can do 3 laps after this, which will put us on lap 8. So we should still be okay. We can actually do a 10-lap stint. We've got enough fuel tank to do a 10-lap stint if we need to. If we go too hard too early. So 2 more laps after this one would be a 7-lap, wouldn't it? Yes. Okay. So we're going to have to extend one of our last 2 stints. Which means we can 2.7. Yeah, that's fine. If we screw up with only having to focus on one car now, then we've definitely done something wrong. But he's in green sectors. He's doing well. He's in the green. Track temperatures 15 degrees. It's about right. We can drive around on neutral without the temperatures dropping too much. So 1 more lap now after this one. We are pulling away slightly. Another Sector 3 crash. It's Vera Cruz! Windsor Racing have a car out of the race. It's unfortunate for them, which really does solidify their downturn this season. Right, we're going to have to go longer now. It was 2 9s and an 8, well we've only done 7, so we're going to have to do at least one 10-lapper, which we'll do as our final one. So this is a 9, so we'll go there. Tyres changed, yep. So this is a 9-lap stint, so which means that we need to make sure that we come in on lap 16. Tyres are fine. Push is alright. We're going to have to go neutral though, pretty much on the second stint, all the way. So it's going to be a long, drawn-out sort of process. Some of these cars will use other tyres, other than the softs. So if they're using mediums, we'll be back in with a shout. Yep, some of them putting medium tyres on here. Right, one car to worry about now, guys. Just make sure you get it right. And we're out of there. We've got 10 laps of fuel, which means we need to do a 10-lap stint, so this is literally medium territory. And of course these tyres do 10 to 12 laps, so again, medium territory. We can't really afford to put the hammer down at all during this stint. Actually it's 9 laps we're doing, not 10. So we can push the tyres a teeny bit, not too much. Kind of see what the gap is to the to Balcazar. Pulling away. She is pushing her tyres and conserving the engine. What's she on? She's on the harder compound as well and pulling away. That's not a good sign. In fact, we have come out behind De Graaf after that first set of pit stops, which also is not good. I actually really hate this race. I really hate this race. I don't think I've ever had a season where this race has gone really well. It just feels like a race where you're constantly having to manage and eke out their existence. A lot of people in the pits. We may bypass some of them. Up into 9th. We got Rosato Corsa coming up our Jaxi here, which never fills you with much confidence. But he's having to pit very shortly. His tyres are already gone. I think a couple of other cars here. Sharp. I think we're in about 6th. I think we're in about 6th place here, 6th or 7th in terms of overall position. I think some of these cars might do more than 2 stops also. So I don't think all is written yet. I think some of these cars might be 3 stopping. It is an attritional race. So we're just going to cruise around. We're just going to put the heat into the tyres here. We're just going to maintain our own race here, almost like racing against the clock rather than racing against the opponents, and just go with our own strategy, and where it puts us, wherever we finish, we'll take it. But I've got a feeling that other pit cars are going to do some strange strategies here. So I don't think all is going to be so clear cut. I mean, a podium, is it still a possibility? Maybe, if other cars do something weird. We could push the engine a bit. Yes, we can, you're right. We can only push it for about 2 laps though before we start to become underfueled. I think this is a high fuel burn track. But we've managed pretty well, so I think if we go medium, if we go push and high for a couple of laps, I still think we should be in a good position here. Just use this now, the second half of this stint, just to get a bit of speed on. Start to build up a gap to the cars behind us, preparing ourselves for our stop, and we are catching the graph. The Diamonds are 3 stopping. Could well be. Could well be. So how many more laps do we need to do? The tyre situation is looking a bit grim. This is only a 9-lap stint and we are struggling. We may have to go on the hard tyres here. To do a 10-lap stint is going to be tough. We're already at 42%, which means I think we can do 2 more laps realistically, and then the tyres are going to go. I'm going to actually go into overtake mode. I think we've got plenty of fuel here. We certainly can't use the softs. We told the chairman we were going to finish 6th. We're going to finish. I think we're going to beat the Windsors to 5th. From what I've seen so far, it's just a case of whether or not we can beat the Kitanos. It's going to be tough. It's going to be close, but I think it's doable. Right. We need to do 2 more laps here. These tyres aren't going to last 2 laps, but we're going to force them to. We're going to force them to do 2 laps, even if they go into the red. I think we have to do it. I think we have to do it. The only other alternative is to do an 11-lap stint now and do it on the hard tyres. Lippenen's crashed, but he's behind us. We've got to call it now. It's only a short lap, isn't it? It's a very short lap, so I think, yeah, I think we're fine to do 1 more. It's not ideal, but I think it's fine. And then we eke out. I mean, we've eked out only 9 laps on the mediums. We're going to have to eke them out again and do 10. Makes me wonder, is this doable? Right, is this going to give us 10 laps of fuel? It tells us that we don't have enough fuel in the race. No, I'm going to go 1 more lap. We need to be sure here. We need to be sure. We can always push. Yeah, the temperature on the hards will be too much. Oh, we've got a virtual safety car. If we could have pitted right now, if we were near the pits right now, we'd have been absolutely laughing. We'd have been laughing. Pitting under a virtual safety car would have been unbelievably time-saving. There, Parsani's getting an advantage. Oh, it's just finished. Parsani would have been getting an advantage there. Right. Holy cow. Tire temperatures are through the floor. Right, it's the tyres that I'm concerned about. We can't conserve them because of the temperature too much. Right, here we are. So we're pushing the engine. The good thing about the final stint is it tells you when you've got excess fuel and when you've got low fuel, so we can always manage the fuel quite effectively now. The issue is the tyres. That is the biggest issue. I'm just going to leave them in neutral and just pretty much have to pray that they last. That's all we can do. De Grasse coming in for his final stop. I think he's well ahead of us. Where are we going to finish here? Where are we going to finish? Right, we're past those two. We're finishing at least 8th. 5 seconds behind De Graaf. There's De Wolf to pit, Becker's to pit again. I wouldn't bank on being quicker than Becker at the end. He's probably going to put the soft tyres on. I think 8th is pretty much where we're going to finish here. 85%. This is going to be unbelievably tough. Fisher's going to have to pit again. His softs will not last, but he's miles ahead. He's got a pit stop in hand, so he should be fine. Yeah, I think 8th position here is as good as we're going to get. I don't think we're going to get any worse than that. We're too far ahead of like 9th and 10th, but I do think that all these guys, Becker pits, he's going to come out and he's going to be quicker than us. De Wolf might be the only one we could potentially pass. De Wolf is the only one we might be able to keep behind us to the end of the race. He is coming out of the pits now, but we're going to get a nice bit of a drop on him. Yeah. So if we can keep De Wolf, if we can keep him behind us, De Wolf, this would be not too bad of a race. We lose some ground to Kitano, but it wouldn't be horrendous. Becker's pitting, Fisher's pitting very soon. 6 laps remaining. We can't do anything with these tyres. It's just too risky. Past the Steinman of Fisher, but he has put the soft tyres on. He's got a faster car. He'll be storming past us any moment now. Within 2 laps he'll be past us. But for the time being, we're up to 5th. Just trundling around. This is so painful. We've only got 1 car to manage, and it's literally we're just having to. Compared to the other cars though, I mean our tyres compared to everybody else's car, we have the best set of tyres, so the only bonus really is we're going to be in no worse state than any of the cars ahead of us. The gearbox is 28%, so we're going to have to turn that down now. That's the weight stripping kicking in. They are only short laps though, so we should still be fine. What is it, 20-odd%? 28, yeah, plenty of life left in the old dog. Right, here comes the Steinman. This is to be expected. There's also De Wolf is catching slightly, not quick enough. Don't fight him, just let him pass. You're driving your own race here. Don't fight him, slow yourself down, just let him past. Oh my god, De Wolf is gaining. The Wolf has got better tyres. Come on, Cruz. You can do it. This is looking grim. Yeah, it's not looking marvellous. It's not looking great. I mean, the very worst we're going to finish is 7th. I mean, it's not a catastrophe. But it's it's just like a slow and painful death, isn't it? You can see it's catching, you know it's coming, but you're powerless to stop it. 3 laps to go. Can't really, I don't want to risk the car blowing up and dropping valuable points, so this is kind of 3.4. What's he doing? He's pushing hard. I mean, the only thing is he might not be able to push this hard for the entirety. He might have to turn his engine down he might have to turn his tyres down eventually. Come on. Come on. Come on. I know they're graining. I can't do anything about it. The tyres need to last till the end. You've got like 2 laps to go, 30%. You're going to be running around on rims. We're going to give you high engine mode. 22%. Ooh, it's touch and go this. High engine mode might just see him. Might just see him. It's 1.8. It's 1.8 and he's still pushing. It's 1.6. It's not going to happen. This is not. If this was just the last lap. If this was the last lap, we'd be laughing. De Graaf has just gone into the pits. He has! Bloody hellfire! We're up into 5th here. He had to pit right at the death. Right, overtake mode. Push the tyres. Push everything. Go! Keep him behind. Come on! Come on! Come on, Cruz! All of a sudden I've given you life. I've given you life for 1 lap. Just stick with it, son. Come on! Come on! Come on! 15% is still his. Come on! Come on, Cruzy! Come on! He's getting so close. Just 1 more corner. Come on! You can't brake. He doesn't need to sweep round it. Yes! 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 Look at Fisher's tyres. He's got none left. Well, would you credit that? I didn't even notice that De Graaf had pitted. So we've. Oh, that was brilliant. I told you. I knew it. I said it at the beginning that there was going to be a variety of different strategies in this race. It's a race of attrition. All we need to do is focus on our own strategy, forget about what other people are doing, and just get the car to the end on 2 stops and see where it puts us. It's put us in 5th. I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. That would have been a lot harder to do with 2 cars, because I'd have been panicking. And 7, 9, 10. An interesting strategy. It'd have been a lot safer if we'd have done 8, 8 and 9 or something, but of course at that point we had 2 cars in the race. Surikov, what on earth are you playing at? What happened? You need to debrief this urgently. You are disappointing us this season. You've got to make a choice. It's either religion or racing. You can't have both. There's no room for God and Phoenix Knights. Okay? One or the other. Does the skull mean he died? It's a bit of an unfortunate icon, isn't it? Right, we got 10 points. Kitano got 14 because they've got 2 cars in the points, of course. However, the fact that we finished ahead of them was damage limitation, certainly. Helped out big style. Not quite a podium, but, well, we'll definitely take this. We are effectively the best of the rest. Although Becker screwed up really royally at the end, didn't he? With his strategy. Sandro Cruz, lofty heights of 6th position in the old driver's standings. Looking mighty fine. And there you go, Team Championship standings. Phoenix Knights, 32. Kitano, 28. 4 points in it. There's not a lot. And Windsor, with both cars crashing out, down in 6 points, in 6th place. I think the portents are telling us that Windsor, they ain't gonna do it. This is a 2-horse race for 4th place. And it's going to be an exciting season, I feel. Can we develop our car quickly enough and effectively enough and efficiently enough here to keep pace with Kitano? They are coming back at us, but if Sirikov had just finished in 8th or something, you know, got a couple of points there, it'd have helped us out massively. And thankfully, he didn't suffer like an injured neck or a damaged wrist from his crash, because that would have even further hampered his performance to go with his religious nonsense. So that's the only one bonus in this entire situation. Right, we're now lacking sponsors all of a sudden. We've got a gap for 2 sponsors. We may need to look at our pit crew management now, because we've got a couple of 17s in there. And yeah, parts to build, parts to develop, reliability to improve, the usual fun and games that goes into good old Motorsport Manager. But I'm going to have to end the session here, because I'm going out now. So yes, quite a successful start to the season, I'd say. Currently standing 4th in the Constructors, and I think it's going to be a good old slog with Kitano for the rest of it. So join me in the next session in a few days' time, when we will continue on our push for 4th place. Until then, see you then, and thank you all for watching. Enjoy what's left of your weekends. Good evening.